The year was 2020. As you may remember, the world was attacked by a virus. In a matter of weeks, our lives went from freedom to bondage. We went from going where we wanted, when we wanted, to being sequestered in our homes and wearing masks if we did go out. In hindsight, this may have been preposterous measures, but at the time, nobody knew what we were dealing with. Masks were required, vaccinations were rushed and recommended, and social distancing of 6 feet became the norm. There are even some pictures online of people with big hula hoops around them to keep themselves 6 feet apart. We were all in preservation mode, and we didn't really think about the impact of these actions as they were happening. We just wanted the threat to end, and we were afraid. I believe that the most detrimental cure that we implemented was social distancing. You see, as humans, we are social creatures, and we require interaction and touch in order to remain mentally healthy. During the years of the virus, I was on the road recruiting and training future salespeople for car dealerships. I traveled in a self-contained 18-foot travel trailer that had everything I needed to survive. It had a queen-size bed, it had a full bathroom, it had a closet, and it had a little dinette, and it had a microwave, stove, and a sink. Everything you could possibly want to be able to stay away from other people and be able to move your home on wheels. At the dealerships, I wore a mask and I sat 6 feet away from the candidate during the interview process. In training, I seated the masked students 6 feet apart, and I taught 6 feet away after wiping down every single surface in the room. Every precaution was being made to keep us apart. I'd be on the road for 3 weeks at a time, and to be honest, the loneliness became almost unbearable. I'm an only child, and I grew up without a whole lot of interaction, but this was extreme. When I would get home, all I wanted was to hug my wife and kids so that I could feel human touch, warmth, and interaction. I didn't know it at the time, but psychologists have identified 4 zones for personal interaction. Up to 18 inches is the intimate zone. I don't think I have to explain that to you very much. 2 to 4 feet is the personal zone. So that's where you are with your good friends. They stay in that 2 to 4 foot range. 4 to 10 feet is the social zone. And that social zone, after you get out of that 6 foot range, you kind of psychologically don't even acknowledge those people so much. They're there, but you really don't even psychologically acknowledge them. And 10 feet and beyond is the public zone, where you really don't acknowledge anybody. Things outside of 10 feet, you just don't really see it or take notice of it. While I was staying in that 6 feet or more from everybody else zone, I was distancing myself from people. And I was doing this for 3 weeks at a time. I was keeping everybody in the social zone and the public zone, which allowed for very limited psychological interaction. So it wasn't just physical interaction that I was missing, it was the psychological interaction that was driving me crazy. I was starving my social spoke, and it resulted in some depression and loneliness. Did you know that in Japan in November of 2020, more people died of suicide than died of the virus in Japan during that entire year? Wow. Why is that? Well, it was due to a strict lockdown and severe cases of depression, anxiety, and being socially deprived in that country. As you can see in these examples, the social part of your wheel is so important. If you're in your 20s, you should be looking for mentors to hang around that can give you a wise perspective on your career and your future. If you're in your 30s and 40s, you should be hanging around your mentors while working to identify the next generation of leaders for you to mentor. If you're in your 50s and beyond, you should be mentoring and pouring into younger people while socializing with your peers and working to make the world a better place. Your social life matters and is a major part of a balanced life. Of course, as with all things, too much socialization around the wrong people can cause you to get a bulge in your wheel that can easily derail an otherwise balanced life. The rule of thumb is that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. If you look around and you are the most successful person in your friend group, it may be time to level up so you can serve something greater.